Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing our monthly TBR video for the month of April. Now, I have been kind of feeling the pressures of reality lately, and so I wanted to take it easy, but it's also April, so I wanted to do some sports stuff as well. So I thought, what if we take it easy, we do some slice of life type stuff, and we also do sports at the same time. I don't know why or how, but to me, April became like read sports manga month. And well, even though I don't really have too many because it's not necessarily my favorite genre, I have managed to amass quite a few different volumes here and there that I want to read. So I will mention those at the appropriate time, and also might miss some because I don't have a list of them. I have the physical ones that I want to read that I have with me right next to me. And then I also have some that I have digitally on Bookwalker that I want to get around to at some point, right? But I don't just read manga, I also read other stuff. So let's look at that stuff first, and then we'll talk about the manga that I really want to read, right? So first, I want to read Legends and Lattes. One, because I've been meaning to read it for like the last 4 or 5 months. And two, because I think it'll be nice, right? Legends and Lattes is supposed to be about this woman who was a orc warrior who then becomes a coffee shop owner, right? And lately I've been really into The Wandering Inn, right? And I really want to continue reading The Wandering Inn. I really should just keep going, but I don't want to burn myself out because something that I've noticed throughout my time kind of like doing YouTube is that I really get obsessed with something. I really do a bunch of reviews for it, and then I get burnt out, and then I stop talking about it, and then I basically never come back to it, right? And I don't want to have that happen with The Wandering Inn because it has managed to fill such an interesting niche for me in terms of stuff that I want out of my stories that I really don't see myself getting all that often, right? And so I wanted to take a step back from The Wandering Inn after I've read 3 volumes worth of it, which is actually 4 books worth of the story, and go to something else. But I didn't really want to leave the kind of general genre vicinity, if that makes sense. So I decided to go with this instead. And so hopefully this manages to scratch a similar itch. And if not, I can always sub in, book 4 of what's it called? Of Cradle, or I can sub in, one of my slice of life light novels, or whatever else I can come up with. However, this is basically the book that I want to read this month, right? So yeah, in terms of comic books, well, I have a bunch of monthly comics that I have not read. I didn't read any of my single issues from last month, so I got to do that. But also, I've managed to collect a sizable amount of collector editions and deluxe editions and omnibuses that I want to read. And so it's time to start cracking into that. And so that is why I'm going to be looking at the Flintstones. This is supposed to be a slice of life type kind of family adventure comedy type thing. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I wanted to get around to reading it. Also, the artwork for this is pretty great, in my opinion. But if I remember correctly, this isn't really all like happy-go-lucky and fun and games. There's kind of like a serious story to this. So if that happens to be the case, and I end up kind of having like oh, this is too real kind of reaction to this, I might switch this out for something else. Maybe Sweet Paprika or something like that. Something that is still kind of slice of lifey, but is a little bit more ridiculous, right? A little bit less serious, right? So yeah, and because this is the sports month, I also wanted to look at some sports comics that I have. So I don't think that there's many, but this one happens to be properly in that genre, and that it would be Johnny Comet. This is a Frank Frazetta classic. This is by Vanguard Classics, the Frank Frazetta Classics. As you guys can see right there, Johnny Comet. This is it is an illustrated adventure of midget car racer Johnny Comet. The cars are midgets, not the character. From legendary Hall of Fame illustrator Frank Frazetta, as it leads us through this high-speed adventure aided by writer Errol Baldwin and Indy 500 winner Peter DePaulo. Frank Frazetta is best known as an icon of fantasy art, Buxom Beauties and Brawny Barbarians, that sort of stuff. However, before that, he was actually a newspaper strip drawer or artist, right? And so this is what these are. You open the book, and it has to be read sideways. And these are all the really fun, interesting newspaper strips, right? And hopefully I enjoy this. This is going to be an interesting concept for me because I've never read a American sports comic, and I've never actually read anything from Frazetta. Like, I've seen his paintings, obviously. I'm a big fan of sword and sorcery type stuff. There's no way I haven't seen his paintings, but I'm quite excited about this because, I mean, look at that. The art style here is fantastic, right? You can see Frank Frazetta kind of draws these characters based on himself. And then he does a great job with the female characters here. This should be quite easy to read. And then later on, these are also in color, right? So there's some of these are in color, and they look to be a bit more complex, which is quite cool. So yeah, there you go. If I like this, I will get the other Vanguard Frank Frazetta classics that are available. I think there's one that is an art book, and then there's another one that's about the White Indian or something like that. It's it's like a European guy that gets raised by Native Americans, and it's supposed to be quite interesting, right? So there you go. There's some other sports kind of ish comics that I might be interested in. There's this one called I Heart Skull Crusher, which came out recently. This is a monthly comic. It's coming out slowly, but I might be able to track down the first issue, and if I do, I will read it because it looks really fun and interesting, right? There's also Do a Powerbomb by Dana Warren Johnson. This is a wrestling comic book, and it also seems pretty cool, but you know, who knows? Time will tell. If I manage to get those in my hands, I will get them, and if I don't, well, there's more stuff to read anyways, right? So yeah, moving on to the manga, I do want to talk about a few different digital manga that I have. So I have Giant Killings, which is a soccer manga. I have MF Ghost, which I'm not going to read right now, but I do have it. I'm going to have, I have a copy of the first volume of Initial D, the digital edition, and this is different from the omnibus. So I will read that. If I like it, I'll start collecting the omnibuses and continue reading from there, but I'll only do the first impressions review for the first book, for the first volume. But I need to know if I like it or not. I have The Medalist, which I bought in a recent Humble Bundle, and I have a few fighting manga or like martial arts type manga that I have from the Ablaze Humble Bundle. And there's things that are not necessarily sports manga, but that have that kind of same vibe, like your boy Kongming, the Reincarnated Ponkatsu, I think is what it's called. Tapu, all-arounders, Meguru all-arounder, and then there might be some Shonen Jump stuff that I decide to kind of bring into this, right, like Haikyuu, or maybe some of the other stuff that's available on the app, but I don't really think so. I think I'm going to focus on Initial D, Medalist, and Giant Killing, and hopefully that's cool. If I manage to import a copy of Aoshi, I might read that, but maybe I'll just watch a few episodes of the anime to see if I like it or not before I bother to import anything from Spain, right? Because that's kind of an expensive venture nowadays, right? So there you go. That's that. Now, moving on to the physical comics. So I have God of High School, book 1. This is kind of annoying that this is the one time that Webtoon Unscrolled decided to make a small volume, when this should be a big volume because this is like their flagship series, right? It's still $20, so I don't really get why they did this. And I've already reviewed this, actually, but I wanted to revisit it in the printed edition just to see if it's worth continuing to collect or not. However, I do have some issues. The spine is really tight, and you can clearly see that they didn't account for gutter loss properly, so there's some issues there, which means that the better way to read it is still definitely the Webtoon, but they have like a weird payment system on there that I don't like. So I'll probably just not end up reading any more of the Webtoon beyond what I already read. But I just want to know if I want to keep collecting this up until I read it, up until the parts that I read or not. So we'll see. This collects the first 12 chapters of the Webtoon. So if you weren't aware that this exists, it does. So there you go. Then this is kind of out of left field, as in it doesn't fit either of the criteria that I had. Exactly because this isn't like, this has like extra elements, right? And that would be Spy Family. So I want to continue reading it because I've only read the first 3 volumes, even though I have the first 11 plus a light novel. So I wanted to read volume 4, 5, and 6. And of course, this has spies and intrigue and drama associated with it, although it is ultimately a slice of life type story where we follow Anya throughout most of her adventures, right? And so that's why I thought it was good enough to fit in here, but not exactly, you know, the same as all of the other stuff, right? And then we get to kind of the thing that I think is probably the most interesting for this month, and that would be these 7 issues or 7 manga that I have of Slam Dunk. So I have the first 2 up there and I didn't feel like getting them out, so I will show you from 3 onward, right? And so I did a first impressions review for this manga at some point, but I want to actually do arc reviews for this manga, so I will have to find out what the arcs are, how the arcs are divided, and then see if that works for me. Otherwise, I'll do it by color of the spine, because this edition is colored differently based on who's on the cover, right? So yeah, here's a Slam Dunk number 3. I don't remember who this character is. This edition is quite odd. It has a French flap, although this cardstock is quite weak. It has, you know, everything in Spanish. Has some color pages here in the front, which are quite nice. This is the Takehiko Inoue size for Mexico, which is quite weird because it's the only manga, or you know, Takehiko Inoue's manga are the only ones that are available in this sizing and in this format. But I mean, it's cool either way. So there's Slam Dunk number 3. Here's Slam Dunk number 4. I like this one actually. It looks good. Here's Slam Dunk number 5. Number 6. And number 7. And so the reason I stopped buying them after number 7, besides the fact that I've not been able to go to Mexico in a long time, is because number 8 actually changed colors. Like the spine wasn't blue or green or something. And so I thought that this was like signifying, hey, this is the change of the story. I don't think that's actually the case, but that's what I thought at the time. So, you know, it's on me. But that might be an easy way for me to divide the story. So I will do like the chunks of volumes that are red, and then the ones that are blue, and then the ones that are green, and then, you know, go through that way. But I don't think that that's effective. I just think that it's easy for me right now. So I don't know. I'll figure out how to do it. I think there are arcs for this story, so hopefully I can find the list of that. Yeah, but I'm excited about that because even though I'm not the biggest fan of basketball, I did enjoy playing it in high school and middle school when I did. And also, the story is quite good. So we'll see. Moving on, we have The Boxer, book 3. And if I enjoy this one, I will, you know, go out of my way to buy books 4 and 5, which have been out for quite a while. And I actually had wanted to buy them, but I just hadn't gone around to it. We'll see if there's like a clear distinction in the story where I can just be like, okay, this is an arc. Let me review up to this point, right? But so far, I have not had the opportunity to find something like that, so we will see. And then finally, to kind of end this off, we have Pokemon Adventures number 2. So this is blue, and I just thought, well, Pokemon isn't exactly a sports series, but it's not really not a sports series, right? I mean, ultimately, if your character class is called Trainer and you compete in tournaments, you're essentially a sports player, right? Not exactly, but you know, you get what I'm saying, right? So there you go. We gotta have cockfighting in the TBR this month. So yeah, that is it for the TBR video. It's longer than I really wanted it to be, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know what you guys are reading down below. Thank you guys once again. Hopefully you guys also pick up some sports manga this month, and if you don't, that's cool. But yeah, thank you guys, and see you guys later.